to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today.
Good evening and welcome to Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel and I'm very happy to be here this evening to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the world of sports at the moment. On the show today we shall take a look at Team Nigeria's performance in the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, as well as other stories revolving around the beautiful world of sport. It promises to be an exciting edition of the show. Don't forget, it is the weekend edition and we have a lot, of course, to unravel down here. We'll take a short break, and when we'll come back from the break, we'll move into the business for the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe.
You're welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on today's edition of the show is Ebando Michael. Good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there.
All right, let's quickly take a look at the situation of things at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. As we saw, some would I say not really a good impressive performance for Team Nigeria. Earlier today, we saw Temitope Adesina, failing to progress beyond the first round of the high jump events. Today, the country's sole representative in the events could only manage a best effort of 1.88 meters. Temitope Adesina, who is a student athlete at Texas Tech University, ended up on number 9th overall and dropped out of the Olympics as only the top 12 finishers to make the final. It's been a tough game so far for a Nigerian contingent, as long as long jump joins football, boxing, table tennis and badminton as events with no medal returns for the country. It was another poor outing in the long jump event, for Team Nigeria earlier as of today, Michael.
Yes, Kingsley, it's another poor outing. I think for me, it begs to the question if you can actually meet up with the target of winning 12 medals in this year's edition, where we are taking part in about 12 different sporting activities, and almost 5 out of those 12 is already out. Talking about boxing, we are out in the boxing event, we are out in the tennis event, we are out in the badminton event, we are out in the football event. Then, before we could say Jack, we are also out in the long jump event. That is 5. So for me, the hope and the chances of we meeting up that target of 12 silverware at this year's Paris Olympic Games seems to be, dim as it stands right now. I think it's quite disappointing ones for us so far in this year's Paris Olympic Game. Though the game has not come to an end, but then you expected us at least by now to at least register our name in the medals log, which you have not done. And the frustration continues. Even yesterday, the Tigers that actually gave us some bit of respite, some bit of hope in their first game against Australia. We also expected them to also, continue in that impressive performance, but then they lost to the host country, talking about France yesterday. So in our next game is going to be against Canada. What is the chances of we making it through from the basketball? The chances are 50-50. It's very slim as well. So I think generally, if you take a look at Team Nigeria in this year's Olympic game, I think it has not been an impressive ride for us, and it's a big worry. It's a big worry for me, Kingsley. At this point, we should just focus all our egg on the, relay event to see if we can be able to at least get 1 or 2 medals from there, because it would be a shame and a waste of resources that at the end of this year's Olympic game we do not at least register at most 10 or even 8 medals. Let's not talk about 12, because looking at the going of events right now, it may not be tenable. That 12 goal set may not be tenable, but then I think we can also at least finish very hard, better than what we did in the Atlanta 96, that still stick in the memories of so many Nigerians today.
Away from that, Rosemary Chukwuma moved to the next round in the 100 meters women's heat, but Tima, God bless, failed in her race. Rosemary returned 11.26 seconds to place third in her heat to qualify for the semi-finals, but Tima, God bless, placed sixth with 11.33 seconds to crash out of the 100 meters women events. Nigeria will participate in men and women discus as well as mixed relays later in the day. Before we take a look at the other events, it was really a little bit of an impressive performance, you would say, for Rosemary Chukwuma.
Yeah, a little bit of performance, especially when you have a star-studded stand that she lined up against. But finishing third is also a great one, at least qualifying for the semi-final. It's a glimpse of hope, but then this is where we were crying about the fact that the likes of Favour Philly was actually omitted, because she should have taken part in this very 100-meter relay. That should have given us another opportunity. Who knows, maybe, just maybe, she should have even finished first or even second position, coupled with Rosemary Chukwu's picking the final slot to the semi-final. But then it is what it is, as it is obvious that she was actually not registered in the 100-meter relay race, which for me I think is quite disappointing one for us. But then for Rosemary Chukwu, it's a great one, great finish. But then if you take a look at the next pairing in the semi-final, it looks even more daunting, more difficult task for her out there, because she's going to be to come up against a very, strong athlete out there, and the chances of her making it through is still very blank for me. But then I think it's a good start for Rosemary Chukwu.
Good start for Rosemary Chukwuma, and can she get past, of course, her opponents in the next stage of the competition, because we understand that she's going to be facing the likes of, Sheo Carey Richardson, as well as Shirley Enna Surprise. Julian Alfred is also going to be in that hit too as well. Can she get past this opponent in the next round of the competition?
Like I said, I think it's a very difficult one, a very tasking challenge that she will be facing in the next round of the competition, talking about the semi-final. You take a look at the standard or the quality of the opponent that she will be lining up against in the semi-final. It's a very, they are very strong opponent rather, and she need to also improve on her timing if she truly want to at least go past the semi-final stage, because her timing in her first race, I think there's a little bit of too much disparity in the seconds where she actually returned 11.29 compared to the winner of the race, who finished at 10 point something. So if she truly wants to go past the semi-final stage, then she must also up her ante. If not, I tell you, she might just be out of the competition in the semi-final stage.
Talking about one lady, of course, who would have actually put up some impressive performance in the 100 meters events down there is Favour Philly. And at the moment, she's not happy with what the Athletic Federation of Nigeria and the Nigeria Olympic Committee did by omitting her name in the event. Of course, we're going to report that Nigerian sprinter Philly has once again taken to social media to warn the Nigerian Olympic Committee and the Athletic Federation of Nigeria of our intention to see the ongoing issue to the end. In our post today, the 2022 Commonwealth Games silver medalist wrote in a social media handle, she said, and I quote, "Sadly, nothing has been done. I am yet to see or hear anyone is being punished for what the Nigerian Olympic Committee and the Athletic Federation of Nigeria did to me. Athletes shouldn't be getting punished for things out of their control." In an angry mode, she questioned the World Athletics for not calling the Nigerian Olympic Committee and the Athletic Federation of Nigeria to question where the qualified athletes were not registered for the event they qualified for. She also said, and I quote, "Who assigned federations or Olympic Committee to enter athletes into the Olympic Games? Is it World Athletics? If so, should they not hold them accountable when they fail to do their job by not entering athletes in events they qualify for and what to compete in what could be seen as an intention to see to the end of the unfortunate act?" The 21-year-old warned that the end has not come to the matter. The Nigerian Olympic Committee and the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, this is not the first time you guys are doing this, so don't think this is over, because it is not. Favor Philly said down there. So she's ready to put up a fight against the Nigerian Olympic Committee and the Athletic Federation of Nigeria for meeting her name in the 100 meters events and the Paris Olympic Games, Michael.
Yes, of course, she's ready to take up that fight and fight it to the end because this is not the first time that such mistake has happened to her. You can't be working so hard after 4 years of you taking part in one of the biggest sporting events across the globe just because of the negligence or the ineptitude of the body that you weren't enlisted or registered for the competition that you have been preparing for 4 good years. I think for me, she has a very germane and very cogent reason to be very angry, at the authority, be it the World Athletic Committee, be it the NOC, be it the AFN, be it the Ministry of Sport. I think for me, it's a big issue that we are facing right here. But then, of course, you know that the sport minister is talking about Senator John Owaneno. He's not taking it lightly as well. You listened to his statement. You read his statement less than 24 hours where Favor Philly raised the first alarm. The sport minister also, put up a rejoinder to that alarm that she raised, actually saying that they are not going to leave any stone unturned in making sure that they dig deep to see where this grievous mistake actually came from. And according to his word, in his word rather, he made it very clear that those that found culpable would definitely be used as a scapegoat. And I think for me, they are just taking it gradually. You need to pass through so many processes. Maybe, just maybe, the Commission of Inquiry has been set to pray or investigate into the matter to actually see which side of the divide that actually committed such blunder. Is it the Athletic Federation of Nigeria? Is it the Nigerian Olympic Committee? Or is it the World Olympic Committee? I mean, somebody must be held responsible for this mistake, because if the AFN is denying that they are not they have done the right thing, or the Nigerian Olympic Committee says that they have transmitted her name to the World Athletic Committee, then they need to come up with an evidence, because I believe those files or those names that they documented and said to the World Athletic Committee is not by spirit, it's not via a spirit form. It must come via either file or either email. So can you show us the evidence of this via the email that you send, or via the facts? So I think we must lay hand on is certain evidence before we can be able to trace where this mistake comes from. And I think that is why the Minister of Sport is taking it very slow, so that they dig deep, a thorough check, so that those people that is found culpable for this mistake must be brought to book, so that it will serve as a deterrent to other leaders, to other people that have been trusted with the position of authority that fail to take their responsibility. And because of that, an innocent athlete that have been preparing so hard has actually missed what should have been a gold medal for her, silver, or even bronze. And this is not the first time. That is the most painful aspect of it, that she was part and parcel of the 12 athletes in the last edition of the Olympic that did not take part in it just because we fail to provide funds for them to take part in the pre-doping test before the competition. So it's becoming a recurrent decimal, and we need to put a stop to it.
Let's see how it goes, and we hope that there won't be an enmity between Favour Ofili and the Nigerian Olympic Committee, as well as the Athletic Federation of Nigeria. But don't you think she's biting more than what she can chew? Don't you think this might actually bounce back against her?
No. How? That
because the men, or probably those at the aim of affairs, might pick it up, or may take it up the fact that maybe she's trying to, rub shoulder or probably contest with them, and maybe in subsequent competition she might not probably be considered.
I doubt, because like I said, she's fighting a very just cause. I do not think that she will get herself into trouble, because the evidence are very clear, and the race has come and gone. It's quite obvious that she wasn't registered, and she's fighting a just cause. Why would they have issue with her? So for me, I think there is no fear for her. Every sane person that listening to this would definitely blame the people that actually was responsible for this mistake, and you can't say that you are going to use her as an scapegoat in the future just because of the fact that she's raising a very valid concern.
All right, so talking about other events today for Team Nigeria, the discus throw will see Ashley Onumba. She will be in action by 5:55 p.m. today, and the 4x400 meters event in round 1 will see Omo Lara Okunma Kinju, Patient Okon George, Sikiru Ademi, Israel Okon. It comes up by 6:22 p.m. Today. Of course, that one should be on. And in the shot put events, the qualification round, we'll see Chukwu Ebuka and Nyekuchi. Of course, his event comes up by 7:10 p.m. Down there, and we'll see we'll see in discus throw Obiagiro Mechi and Choma Nyekure. Their game also come up by 7:20 p.m. That game, of course, should be on at the moment. So looking forward to see the performance of these athletes for Team Nigeria. No medal so far for Team Nigeria, not a very impressive performance, you would say. Can we be able to rack up medals in discus throw and as well as the shot puts events, Michael?
Well, let's just keep our fingers crossed, hoping that we can be able to pick 1 or 2 medals from the shot put or discus throw out there. So as it stands, though you may say that our hope is very bleak, but then it is not done and dusted. There's still lights at the end of the tunnel.
Lights at the end of the tunnel. Let's take a look at the performance of the Tigers of Nigeria yesterday. The Nigeria's senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, suffered their first defeat at the Paris 2024 Olympics, slumping to 75-54 defeat to France in the second Group C game in Paris. It wasn't nearly as pretty as the opening 75-54 blowout of Australia, but Ezinne Kalu was the best performer on the day, with the New Jersey-born point guard and 3-time Afro basketball champion Ezinne Kalu followed up with her second successive stunning performance in as many outings at the games. But was it the best of performance for the D Tigers as they lost to France? What went wrong for the D Tigers, Michael, yesterday?
Nothing went wrong. It's just that they came up against an opponent that was playing at the front of their home crowd. So they met with an opponent that you will say a bit better than them, and that is why they lost the game. Of course, playing at home in front of your home crowd is an advantage for you, and as a host country is another big advantage. So looking at all of this, I think that is the reason they put up an impressive display, especially in the first quarter. The point margin wasn't that much, but in the second and third quarter, I mean, they could not also up their game, and that is why we saw them losing to France. My worry is not about losing to them, but the point margin, because take a look at the point margin, it's about 21 points margin or thereabout. It's too much, and if push come to shove in the group, that we have to determine, going by point of those who is going to be eliminated or who is going to make first and second position, then it is going to be a disadvantage for us because of the point margin. But then we still have a game against Canada. Can we make it count against Canada? Of course, we have what it takes to make it count, because Canada lost their 2 games. They are seated at the bottom of the group. They were defeated by Australia, the same Australia that Nigeria defeated. So if you take a look at the intrigues or the metrics of this group out there, you may want to say, yes, maybe for the fact that we defeated Australia and Australia defeated Canada, then you may say that we have more strength compared to Canada. So we are looking up to the last game. And in the last game, that is going to be more like a make or a break game for us and for Rena Wakama's side. But I know that Rena Wakama will definitely go back to her drawing board and take a look at the clips and see some of the errors and correct it before our next game against Canada.
It wasn't a very good day for the D Tigers of Nigeria, as they didn't come up, of course, with their A game. We saw them missing, some turnovers, steals as well, and not getting the 3-pointers, which they, got in an impressive manner in the game against Australia. But we hope that they bounce back against Canada in their next encounter. But away from the D Tigers, Nigerian boxing legend Ikechukwu Okoronko has blamed the Nigerian Boxing Federation for the poor outing of Team Nigeria boxers in Paris. Speaking with newsmen, Okoronko lamented poor preparation and flaws in the selection process. He said, and I quote, "The right thing was not done because when selection started, they were discriminating and they were fighting for the coach that would take the boxers to Paris. They were not interested in building home-based athletes. They were looking for quick ones. So when I saw that happening, I told them, look at where you people are getting it wrong. They would not be good for the Nigerian Boxing Federation, and they would not, of course, put up a very impressive result." This is coming from Ikechukwu Okoronko. He cited lack of preparation and the fact that there were some hitches in terms of selection of coaches, and as well as the boxers as well.
It's a big challenge. An issue that will continue to sing like a music every day. We keep talking about the same thing: lack of preparation, the process being flawed, marred by a whole lot of personal and collective interest by some persons who want to also make an ends meet from the organizers or the competition as well, who were jostling to put their own person there. If the process is flawed, then that is the beginning of our downfall, where you select people based on man no man kind of a thing, instead of throwing the platform open for anybody that has what it takes to pick the ticket. But then because of all of this, we were unable to bring out a good representative that is going to do us proud out there. And it is very evident, looking at the result that we got out there. Quite disappointing. But then it tells you a whole lot about the rot in the system. If somebody that has been wearing the shoe come out to make this kind of bold statement, it's very clear and evident that the system or the process was flawed and it is not the right way to go. And if we continue in this direction, then boxing will continue to go down the drain.
Talking about blames in the Paris Olympics for Team Nigerian Super Falcons coach Randy Wardrum has blamed the team's all-star from the women's football event of the Paris 2024 Olympic on poor preparation. Nigeria knocked out of the tournament in the group stage on Wednesday after a 3-1 defeat to Japan, ended the phase without a win, having lost their first 2 matches to Brazil and Spain 1-0 on both occasions. Wardrum also putting the blame on poor preparation as well.
Yes, we always find an scapegoat whenever some person gets it wrong out there. Randy Wardrum come out to blame the authority for poor preparation. I think for me, not the way to go. I think he should have taken the blame, because if you take a look at the pattern of play in the last World Cup out there, it is not impressive at all for me. Though some persons consider that we did pretty well at the last World Cup because of the fact that we find ourselves in a very tight group, but then they were able to pull through in that group, but got knocked out in the round of 16 against England. And what actually cost us the game against England was tactical ineptitude on the side of this same Randy Wardrum, because we can't be playing 11 against 10 because when you know, the James sister got the red card, you expected us to at least build on that confidence, pound the pressure against our opponent, get the winning goal. But then we dilly-dallied until the ball actually went the way it went, and England, with 10 men down, defeated us. Then, coming to the Olympic game, we played 3 games, lost all 3 games, considered a total number of 5 goals, scored just a goal. Then a pattern of play, very defensive. From your first game down to second game to the last game, you were defensive-minded, deploying 4-2-3-1 formation, sitting deep, not allowing the players to express themselves on the pitch of play, by being comfortable on the ball. How do you expect them? Such negative football no longer exists in this modern era. Football have evolved, I will keep saying it. And if you don't evolve, get evolved, you know, with the evolving nature of the game of this day, then it means you are still living in the past, and there is no way you get a positive result. So we first start by how well he had fared since he got the job down till which major trophy has he won for us? How far has he taken the Super Falcons? These are some of the questions and indices that you must be able to put in place. Then he juxtaposed his pattern of play when he came first in his first game in charge, down to this last game in the Olympic game. Is there any level of positivity? Is there any level of improvement? Is there any level of attack-minded? Is there any level of build-up play? There is none. And in transitional play, you find it difficult that our players in the middle of the park or in the front line, they struggle. Why? Because they are sitting deep, trying to absorb pressure, trying to defend. How do you expect us to progress? So for me, I do not want to, you know, agree with him that lack of preparation, because even if we had prepared earlier, would he have been able to bring in a different tactics compared to what we saw? So I think for me, if you ask me, it is high time Randy Waldrum should go. So that I will bring a coach that is more adventurous in playing the modern pattern of football. Because for me, I will keep saying it, the best form of defense is to attack.
All right, let's see how it goes, Coach. Randy Waldrum's contract, of course, will end after the Olympic Games, and we'll see if the Nigerian Football Federation will renew his contracts at the end or for the day. But at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we'll come back from the break, we'll be able to bring you the latest revolving around the Olympics, because more to talk about as we're seeing some games, of course, unfolding down there. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and we'll bring the latest revolving around the water sports. Of course, a lot's happening down there in Paris as it concerns the Olympic Games. It's not been rosy at all for Team Nigeria. Still looking forward to win a medal in this particular Olympic game, but we hope maybe in the track and field events, something of course tangible will come up for Team Nigeria. But let's take a look at one lady that is putting up a very, very impressive performance at the Paris Olympic game. Simone Biles, she won the all-round gymnastic title for her second Olympic gold in Paris and 6th overall to cement her place back at the top of her sport with yet another sparkling slice of history. The American who won the title at Rio 2016 had been favorite at Tokyo 20 before she pulled out because she became the oldest winner of a sports blue rebound event for 72 years in front of another celebrity-studded crowd. What do you make of the feats for the lady Simone Biles?
It's an impressive feat for her, replicating the same form we saw her last edition of the Olympic game. I think it's very clear that she has that quality above every other athlete out there. You needed to go through the clips of that, her race out there. It was very, very spectacular. And I tell you, for Biles, I think she still has, age on her side as well. So for me, I think one of the best, you may want to say, creating and breaking record for herself. I tell you, it's going to take some more time before other athletes can also meet up or match with this very record. So for me, her quality any day, anytime is never in doubt.
Brazil Rebecca Andrade claimed silver at the Bessie Arena with defending champion Sinusa Lee taking bronze in that particular one. So away from that, we got to report that a swimmer, Slovakian swimmer Tamara Potuka, is receiving medical treatments after collapsing following a 200 meters medley hit at La Defense Arena at the Paris Olympics. Potuka, who is 31 years, collapsed by the side of the pool. She was given immediate medical care, including being given oxygen. The Slovakian told newsmen that she's asthmatic and had an asthma attack. Potuka is conscious and was able to communicate with doctors. She has been taken to hospital for further medical supervision. She finished 7th in her hits and missed out on a place in the semi-final. But we have to move on as we'll take a look at the latest coming from tennis this hour. And from what we're seeing, Carlos Alcaraz is the man of the moment as he becomes the youngest player, of course, to get to the finals of the Olympics. He got past Felix Auger-Aliassime today in a 6-1, 6-1 victory, Michael.
Total display, imperative display from Carlos Alcaraz. I think he's the rave of the moment, just like you said. And you take a look at his game so far in the couple of weeks right now. We've seen a whole level of improvement for Carlos Alcaraz. And we saw his form and they just concluded Wimbledon. And he has also continued to fire from all cylinders. I mean, truly, he's living up to that high hope and dream of becoming becoming a poster boy that we are hoping that is going to fill in the shoes of the likes of Andy Murray, the likes of Novak Djokovic when he finally decides to drop the baton. So we are hoping, just hoping that he's going to meet Novak Djokovic again in the final, and it's very, very likely that they might possibly meet in the final again. Maybe a final more like what we saw in the last edition of the competition. But then I tell you, for Alcaraz, I think I'm very, very impressed because there is that a few months ago when we were talking about Carlos Alcaraz, how he was dwindling his career out, how he was unable to at least hit that peak, hit the bull eyes when we were talking about him being the next man on the lips of many to take up the position of Novak Djokovic. But then we saw how Jannik Sinner was able to defeat Novak Djokovic, not just defeating him, but also toppling him as a world number one. At some point, many of us begin to raise eyebrow that Carlos Alcaraz might not possibly get to that peak, but then he's gradually crawling back into his best form, proving so many bookmakers wrong out there. A big congratulations for him, and he's in a very pole position, to at least win a gold medal in this year's Paris Olympic Games.
Impressive ride so far, of course, you will see for the man, Carlos Alcaraz. We hope he gets something huge in the Olympic. But as we speak, Novak Djokovic is currently in action against Lorenzo Musetti. It's really getting intense, and that's one. Djokovic, of course, just like you mentioned down there, might be in the final against Carlos Alcaraz. But first, he has to get past Lorenzo Musetti. What do you make of it? You think it will be an easy ride for Djokovic?
There is no game that is always an easy ride. You have to walk, it out there on the court. And I think for the fact that Novak Djokovic, he has won everything that needed to be won in the world of tennis. The only trophy that is still eluding him is the Olympic trophy, which is fighting so hard to ensure that at least he gets this one before maybe he finally leaves the stage, because he might not be able to come back in the next Olympic Games, which is after 4 years' time. So I think he's doing everything possible to ensure that he breaks that jinx of winning in an Olympic medal. It's very, very possible. Taking a look at the way he's going, so far this season he wasn't at his best form, as he was eliminated as the world #1 dethroned, and also not having won any major title so far for this season. Wasn't an impressive season for him, but coming into this Paris Olympic game, many had a doubt whether he's going to even go far. But then I think we also attribute him coming this far because of the fact there are some other big name players that pulled out of the competition courtesy of injury thereabout. But then expect Novak Djokovic to at least get to the final and possibly break the jinx of winning an Olympic medal before he finally drops his rackets.
In the female category, Iga Swiatek is still pushing. She got past Carolina in a 6-2, 6-1 victory down there. And we hope, of course, that she continue with this impressive performance going forward for herself. It's really been an impressive ride, and we'll see how this one, of course, will go down for Iga Swiatek. But we have to bring you the latest, coming from football, as Morocco are doing something great this time. They got past the United States of America 4-0 in that encounter to get to the semi-final of the Paris Olympic football events. What do you make of it, Michael? Impressive victory for Morocco.
Yeah, very impressive, Kingsley. For Morocco, we keep saying it. I think they are the only country in Africa. Maybe you talk about the likes of Tunisia, Egypt, or South Africa. But then if you take a look at their developmental process in terms of football in the last 4 years, it shouldn't be of any surprise to you that they are doing pretty well, not just in the underage competition, but in the women football as well. They are also doing pretty well. So for Morocco, they truly understand what it means to have a long-term planning in terms of football development, in terms of sport development generally. So I think they are reaping the benefit or the fruit of what they sowed 3 or 4 years down the line. This time around, annihilating the likes of United States of America with a convincing win, 4-0. It clearly tells you of the quality that is within the Moroccan team right now. And going forward, I think they should also build on this confidence of this 4-0 victory in the semi-final, so as to see if they can be able to at least get this one for Africa. Because if they get to win the Olympic gold, then it's not just for the glory of Morocco, but for the glory and pride of the continent of Africa.
Africa always sharing in the glory of Morocco. We saw them in the World Cup in Qatar when they went to the semi-final, and the African countries, of course, were very happy with that victory, and now they are it once again. But today we also saw Spain getting past Japan in a 3-0 victory down there. And currently, Egypt are in action against Paraguay. It is goalless in that encounter. But later tonight, we'll see France against Argentina. An impressive encounter to watch out for. But we have to stay away from the Olympics now, as we'll take a look at the latest down here in Nigeria as it concerns football. We hear that Usman Adala is now the new coach of Kano Pillars. Michael.
Yeah, a good appointment for Usman Adala. It's a known name in the Nigerian Premier Football scene. But then, take a look at the fact that Kano Pillars is one of the biggest clubs here in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Does he have what it takes to be able to stand the pressure and the challenge of coaching one of the biggest teams here in the Nigerian Premier Football League? We are waiting to see. The season will soon kick off on the 31st of August, which is tentative. Let's see if Usman Adala is that man that is going to at least help Kano Pillar to contend or fight for the league in the just coming season.
Let's see how it goes for Usman Adala. But away from the Nigerian football down here, Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti says that Vinicius Junior is the man to win the Ballon d'Or this time around. You know, we have the likes of Jude Bellingham in contest for this one, Dani Carvajal, not for getting Rodri of Manchester City as well. But Ancelotti is saying that among the guys at Real Madrid, that Vinicius Junior is his favorite for the award.
Vinicius Junior might be his own favorite, but then it's quite debatable. Taking a look at the statistics and performances of other players as well, who are also in a poor position to win this year's Ballon d'Or. Of course, Vinicius Junior, he did pretty well for Real Madrid in the last season, helping them winning the La Liga and even the Champions League. But then we still have other players as well within that Madrid team who also did pretty well. The likes of Jude Bellingham, he was very instrumental and pivotal for Real Madrid as well, winning the league and also the Champions League. He also took that form down to the Three Lions, where they actually got to the final of the Euro this year, but lost to the eventual winner, talking about Spain. He was very instrumental, helping England get to the final. Then again, for his fellow teammate, talking about Daniel Carvajal, also was very key for Real Madrid, in winning the Champions League, even the La Liga as well. Then also helped Spain as well win this year's Euro. A whole lot of players to mention. Rodri as well is also not left aside. He was very instrumental for City winning or defending the EPL they won last time, making the fourth straight win. He was very pivotal for Spain as well, getting to the final of the Euro and also winning it. Then another player that will come to mind as well is Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan and Argentina. He was very vital, very key, played a very key role for Inter Milan winning the league. Was their highest scorer. Then again, took the same form to Argentina national team for the Copa America, where Messi, failed to live up to that Messi quote that we know of him. Lautaro Martinez single-handedly carried the burden of Argentina down to the final of the Copa America. Eventually, they won it. So for me, I think it's questionable, or let me say that Vinicius Junior might not be the right player, but then according to his coach, he's going for him. But like I said, I've mentioned players that truly deserve to win this year's Ballon d'Or. All
right, let's take a look at the transfer summer now, as Nigerian midfielder Ogene Karitebo has joined Turkish club again Bilegi on a permanent transfer. Tebo signed a 2-year contract with the Red and Black. The 28-year-old last played for Greek league club Aris, and the player was clubless for the entire 2023 and 2024 season. Tebo has also played for clubs in Portugal and England. Michael, Ogene Karitebo coming back to Lamlights.
It's a good one for him. I think that is the best way for him to try and see if he can be able to revive his career, because Etebo, we know, very combative midfielder, very good midfielder any day, any time. But then I think going to start from this point is going to be a good one for him. Let's see if he can be able to revive his career and get back to, and get back his form. Then maybe anything else will follow suit.
All right, let's say it go, but we hear that Fulham have announced the club record signing of Arsenal midfielder Emile Smith-Rowe for an initial £27 million. Michael, what do you make of this one from Fulham?
It's a good business for Fulham. Emile Smith-Rowe is a very good player, but then at Arsenal, his chances were limited because he has so many competition in his position out there. We talk about the left flank where he's comfortable, or the right flank. The likes of Alexander Trossard and Martinelli is always preferred ahead of him. And then you talk about the right flank, Bukayo Saka is always preferred ahead of him. So it makes it very difficult for him, and that is why he always sits on the bench. But then taking this bold move is going to be an improved one for his career going forward, because he needs to go to a club where we'll be playing regular football.
All right, at this point, we'll call it a wrap on the show. We'll be back tomorrow for an exciting edition of Sports Personalities. You want to join us as it promises to be an exciting time talking about another sports personality on the show. But we can't go without telling you that Simone Biles, she's our sport extraordinaire. Of course, she won the all-round gymnastic title for her second Olympic gold in Paris. Impressive feat, of course, you will see for Simone Biles. Don't forget, peace and unity, always the pathways to progress. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.
On ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human